Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Now, I talked about on a few shows about how, when you part of the family, the org, right, where you got family members that all fall under this umbrella. Well, it's just like family, you know what I'm saying? And like I've always said, I've never been one of those individuals that like touch that line, you know what I'm saying, together, sisters, mom, whoever, whatever. You feel what I'm saying? It just, I didn't do that because I always, you know what I'm saying, understood that it could cause problems if something goes wrong because within the org, things happen. People get mad at each other, so on and so forth. And in relationships especially, you know what I'm saying, breakups happen. And if you happen to break up with one of the folks, sister or mom or something like that, and it's a nasty breakup or whatever the case may be, then that's going to have effects on the fam, right? So I always stayed away from it, right? But everybody doesn't think the way that I think. You know what I'm saying? So this brother named Mike, right? Now his mom, she was one of them cool women that looked good, still thought she was young. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't old. You feel what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. She wasn't old at all. You feel what I'm saying? She just like that dude, that type of dude that's in the street. And if he's a little younger, it's cool with her. A little younger than her, rather. It's cool with her. She didn't trip on stuff like that, right? She went wherever her heart would take her, but she really just didn't understand how serious it could get, you know what I'm saying, with the oil. But here's the thing. Let me tell you about Mike, right? Um, Mike was one of the brothers that on the compound at this particular time where, everything was moving around and he would be always into something and so on and so forth. And his mom helped him out a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? His mom's name was Cat. We're going to call her Cat. Cootie Cat for that. Anyway, so his mom, she was straight like that, right? And whenever Mike needed something, he would call his mom and she would facilitate that and make sure things could happen for him, call somebody for him, drop something off for him, all of these different types of things, right? But see, Mike didn't have a phone, but that was cool because when you're on the compound, it's usually always a nation's phone, right? And you have one brother designated to hold the phone for the whole organization. And during the day, that brother would make sure that certain brothers got to use the phone based on what the nine would tell them or whatever. Brothers would come to him and say, bro, I need the phone at such and such time, so on and so forth. But at nighttime, right before the lockdown, that phone would be given back to him and be put up, and he would make sure everything would be secure, right? However they did it, right? But, he would hide it. But at the end of the day, the phone would be put back up at night, and that was his responsibility. So one day, Mike needed to use the phone. And so he comes to the cell and bro lets him use the phone to call his mom. Bro steps out of the cell and everything is Gucci because bro wasn't on that, trying to sit and listen to whatever the case may be. But bro was a ladies' man. But anyway, he steps out of the cell and let Mike take care of his business. Now, it's right at lockdown time. So when he comes back in, he's looking at the phone, making sure he's clearing the numbers off the phone and all this and that, making sure ain't no pictures. Because some of the brothers would have pictures in, but he always made sure he cleared all of that type of information off the phone because if something did go wrong, he wanted to make sure that he would be the only one that would be affected by it. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of all that. Because brothers be slipping, they moving fast, forget to erase the number out of the phone and all that old kind of stuff, right? So anyway, while he was taking care of business and doing all this, one night after Mike done get off the phone, he get ready to put the phone on, and he happened to be in the cell by himself at this particular time because his cellar was already gone to the hole. So he's erasing everything off the phone, and then all of a sudden a text message pops through. Oh, Miss Mike's mom. You feel me? Miss Cat. So Miss Cat, she said, can I talk to my son? So folks hit her back and say, oh, it's lockdown time. He's gone. You know what I'm saying? I had to, let you talk to him tomorrow. And she said, oh, okay, thank you, baby. Who is this? And he said, this is such and such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? I'm Mike's brother. And she said, oh, okay. And then all out of the blue, she hits him a picture. She said, what you doing tonight? He said, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? She said, I'm lonely. I need to talk to somebody. He said, well, I tell Mike, you know what I'm saying, that you need somebody to talk to. And she's like, she hit him back. She said, no, now these are text messages, y'all. So she hit him back. She said, no, I need to talk to somebody now. I'm really going through some things and I'm lonely. I just need to hear a man's voice. So he sat there for a second and he's like, dang, this is one of the guy's moms and I want to be helpful and all this and that, right? So he said, look, I tell you what, wait till after the police walk around for lockdown and then I'll text you and then you can call me and then we can talk for a little bit before I go to bed. She said, cool, it's a date. Now he looks at the phone, he says where it says it's a date. He's like, man, what's she on? You know what I'm saying? So he turned the phone off and put it up. So he wasted a count, comes around and everybody done walked around. He's looking out the door because he normally don't keep it out like that. He'll keep it out every now and then, but he's real disciplined. You know what I'm saying? So he gets the phone back out, turns it on. All kind of messages was on there. I'm waiting to talk to you. I can't wait to talk to you. You seem to be the type of person that I could talk to. All this old kind of stuff. The message is just popping through as when he turned the phone on. So he was like, what is she on? You know what I'm saying? He's curious. He's confused and don't know what's going on, but he's excited by it. He's excited by it. So now he hits up and he said, go ahead and call, right? It's straight. Now he done relaxed, you know what I'm saying? He got in the bed and he got the phone laying on the side of him, in front of him, you know what I'm saying? But it's covered up by the blanket because you got to be careful that light will be shining, right? So he got the thing on dim, but he still got it covered up. And he said, excuse me, he said, look, can you hear me? She was like, yeah, I hear you pretty good. He said, oh, okay, because I got the phone covered up and I want to make sure that you can hear me before we, you know what I'm saying, settle down and start talking, right? Because I don't want to be moving this phone around. So she hit back and said, look, well, where's the phone at? He said, I got the phone under the cover. She said, I wish I was under the cover with you. All like that, right? So bro was like, what's up with you? You know what I'm saying? She was like, what's wrong with you? What you mean, what's up with me? She said, I'm a woman. I don't need no little boys in my life. She went straight there from 0 to 100. And he was like, no, it ain't even like that with me. I ain't no little boy, though. You know what I'm saying? So she started talking to him about his past and asking him what he was in for and where was he from and all this old kind of stuff. And he's digging the conversation because she sounded like real grown woman stuff. You know what I mean? And she's kicking him with the conversation and all this and that, right? So the next thing you know, an hour's gone by. 2 hours gone by. 3 hours gone by. Now he's getting tired, but he digging the conversation. And don't now one of them want to get off the phone, Now, in the course of these 3 hours while they talking, she calling him baby and, you know what I'm saying, you the type of man that I'm looking for and all this and that, right? She said, are you into older women and all of this old kind of stuff? Because she a few years older than him, but not much. He said, look, never really been with an older woman, you know what I'm saying, but I'm down for anything, you know what I'm saying? He said, but look, what about Mike? And she said, Mike's my son. I'm the mama. I talk to who I want to talk to. But what we need to do is just keep this between us. He was like, okay then, I'll keep it between us. Now he's real excited. He's real excited about this now. So he tells her, look, I need to get up off the phone, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't want to get caught with this and all this and that. Plus I got to go to work in the morning. She asked me where he worked and he told he worked in the chow hall and all this and that. And she was like, you straight? You need anything? He was like, no, I'm good. I'm straight. She said, well, you going to ask me if I need anything? And he was like, you need anything? She said, yeah, I need you to talk dirty to me before you go to bed, before you go to sleep. He said, talk dirty to you? She was like, yeah, let me hear something. Talk dirty to me. So he started kicking her with a few things, you know what I'm saying, talking about touching her and feeling on her and all this and that, right? And rubbing over her and kissing her, you know what I'm saying? And so she's leaning back in the bed, right? And he starts to hear her moan. And you know what I'm talking about when, you know what I'm saying, the people are moaning and groaning and all this and that, right? And she said, don't stop. Keep going. And he said, what you doing? And she said, I'm playing with it for you. And then that's when he asked, he said, let me hear it. She said, you want to hear it, baby? He said, yeah, let me hear it. So she put the phone down there between her legs. So he hearing it pop. He's hearing it pop. Now she tell him, it's your turn, let me hear it. So he put the phone down between his legs and he hitting that thing. You know what I'm saying? So she can hear it. Now both of them is getting excited. They on into it, right? Now this is the first night. So they finished doing what they doing. you know, and they get off the phone. Now he's laying there in the bed trying to figure out what is he gonna do about this situation because, you know, Mike is his brother. He the folks. So he goes on to sleep, but he decides, I'm gonna keep this to myself. Don't nobody need to know nothing about this. You feel what I'm saying? So he gets up the next morning. He makes sure he erases everything off the phone, puts the phone up. He gets up the next morning, and a couple of brothers is coming around to use the phone. He goes to work. When he comes back in, all he can think about is Miss Cat. All he can think about is Miss Cat. So it ain't even nighttime yet, but he's sitting in the room. And like I say, during the day, that's Nation's phone. So you'll have brothers coming in and out and wanting to need to use the phone and all this. And they've never really seen him on the phone during the day like that. But now he's sitting in the phone, he's texting back and forth with her. Texting back and forth. And they're like, bro, what you got going on? He's like, oh, nothing. I'm just hollering at somebody. So they're like, guess what's up? Let me use the phone. So before he would let them get on it, he would always tell her, hold up, somebody needs your phone. And then he would erase everything out of it so that nobody would catch on to what he had going on. So she wouldn't even hit him during that time until he hit her back. So then Mike comes in, and he needs to use the phone again. So he tell Mike, hold on a second, I got you. He let Mike use the phone. He called his mom. He tell his mom that he need her to drop something off for him, all this and that. She says, that's okay, cool, I got you. And then he said, well, I need to hit you back later on to make sure everything is straight. And she said, oh, okay, what time you going to hit back? He said, it'll be around lockdown time. She said, oh, okay, then if you're not able to call, what do you want me to do? He said, look, just let folks know. If I don't get to call you back, just let him know when you get everything taken care of, right? And he'll tell me in the morning. She said, oh, okay. Now she got the green light to hit him up that particular night. So she go take care of business for Mike, and then she hit folks back. And she tell him, tell my son that everything is straight on that, right? He said, oh, okay then. She said, do you need anything? He said, no, not right now. We'll talk about that another time. So they commenced to talking and just kicking and enjoying each other's company. And then it gets back to the situation at hand. You know what I'm saying? She liked playing in that thing and he likes doing it too. So she's doing that on the frequent form and he's hearing that thing pop. So one day, now this has been going on for a month. So one day he tells her, he said, look, let me hear that thing, you know what I'm saying, whenever I want to. And she said, you can hear it whenever you want to, but during the day, I got to be at work. He said, oh, okay then. He said, why don't you record it for me? She said, huh? Yeah. He said, I want you to make a recording of you playing in that pussy for me. And I want to hear everything. So this excites her. She said, oh, okay, I got you. So she makes him this recording of her playing in that thing. I'm talking about, listen to me, y'all, playing in that thing. All kind of sound effects. She moaning and hollering, you know what I'm saying? And just screaming when she having her orgasms and all that old kind of stuff. Just going in. And she sends it to him. He listens to that thing and it immediately turns him on. He tells her, this is what I need right here. He said, I can listen to this during the day and then I can listen to you at night. She said, you got me. You can listen to me whenever you want to now. So now this recording, now keep in mind, y'all, this is the Nation's phone, right? But he kept that on there. He kept that recording on that phone, right? But it was some kind of app where he could hide it. You feel what I'm saying? And he did that. But he had it on the phone the whole time. So now, whenever some brothers would come to the room, he didn't have to worry about them listening to it because she had told him about this app too, where he can hide this particular message, this particular audio file, and nobody would be able to get in it other than him. So now, folks and them coming around, they need to use the phone, this and that, and the 9 come and tell him, look, we got some stuff going on. I need you to let folks use the phone at night. Keep the phone. He can't tell the 9 no. You feel me? So he hit Miss Cat up and tell Miss Cat, look, I ain't gonna be able to talk to you tonight. Brother, them got to keep the phone overnight and they got to take care of some business. She tell him, okay, I got you. That's what's up. I'll just hit you back tomorrow. You'll have the phone tomorrow, right? He tells her, yeah, I'll have the phone tomorrow. I got you. So now the other brother, he got the phone that night. And look, it's simple as this. When brothers have the phone, and I'm gonna tell you something, if you got somebody in here and they let somebody else use the phone, always be aware that, you know, they may not know what's going on when that other brother has that phone tonight. I'm telling you, I've been in a situation like that. I might have to tell y'all about that one of these days. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Now, this other brother got the phone. Now, he's in the room, you know what I'm saying, after he done took care of the business, because he didn't really need to keep the phone and talk all night, but the time that he was going to be able to call and check on the business for the 9 was going to be after lockdown. So he got all night to talk on the phone, watch movies, whatever the case may be. He got all night to do that. You know what I'm saying? And he got the charger so he can keep that thing fully charged while he's doing it. So he's going through the phone and calling people, looking at YouTube and all this. And again, guess what happened? Zzz, text message come through. It's Miss Cat. The same way she did what she did. She said, who is this? He said, this such and such. She said, hey, this Mike's mom. He said, hey, how you doing? This and that. Is there anything I can do for you? She was like, no, I'm lonely. I need to talk to somebody. So now she talking to him and he kicking the vibe with her and all this and that, right? And almost to the letter, she hits him up and says, look, let me play with this thing for you. Now, folks is like, don't know what to do because he messed with Mike. But at the same time, shoot, he want to hear that thing pop too. So he tell her, go ahead, let me hear that thing pop. So she hitting that thing. I'm talking about that thing sound like a glass of water. I'm telling you, you know how that water sound. Put your hand, if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, get you a glass of water. Get you a glass of water. Put your 2 fingers down in the water and just move them back and forth and see what it sound like. See what it sound like. Because I see a lot of people out there, you know what I'm saying, when they say they playing in that thing for they dude, that's what they'll do. They'll get that water and they'll be playing with it. You know what I'm saying? It sound like real gushy, moving around. It's that water, right? It ain't that thing. It's that water, right? So anyway, she hitting that thing like that, but she hitting that thing for real. She ain't playing with no water. She like playing in that pussy. That's just period, point blank. So she playing in that thing, she getting it going, and he's feeling it. He feeling it. Now, he tell her, look, I ain't gonna have the phone like this tomorrow. When can we talk again? She said, this is what you do. Keep my number. And whenever you do have the phone, you just hit me up. And I'll play with this thing for you. But you can't tell nobody. Can't tell nobody about it. So he don't say nothing. Now the 9, the next morning, get the information from him, they give the phone back to folks. You know what I'm saying? Because folks is the one designated to hold the phone for the whole part. So he got the phone back. First thing he do, he hit Miss Cat up. You miss me? She said, yeah, I missed you, baby. I sure did. He said, look here. I don't want to listen to the tape. I want to listen to you. Now he got a plan in that thing. I'm talking about playing in it. Look here. Miss Cat was a pro, y'all. When I say a pro, Miss Cat was a pro. But check this out. As in all situations, something is going to go wrong. And it always does. It always does. Now, look. I'm going to have to tell you about what went wrong in this next episode. So make sure you tune in, and I'm going to tell you what Miss Cat did and how this thing blew up in everybody's face. You feel what I'm saying? It's a good one, y'all. I'm telling you. It's a good one. It's been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.